embracing not only communist ideology, but also the Marxist-Leninist credo that music was to be used as a weapon to achieve particular socio-political ends. Songs became the driving force of the revolution.
Point two is total assault on the culture by any means necessary, including rock and roll dope in the streets.
Jerry Rubin, co-founder of the Yippie movement and one of the infamous Chicago Seven, authored the bestseller Do It, a book that was called by its publisher, quote, the Communist Manifesto of our era, a declaration of war between the generations, calling on kids to leave their homes, burn down their schools, and create a new society upon the ashes of the old.
See, we don't want to be responsible. We're irrational. We're irrational and crazy.
In a chapter titled Elvis Presley Killed Ike Eisenhower, Rubin described the spark that lit the fire of the revolution. The new left sprang from Elvis' gyrating pelvis. Hard animal rock energy beat surged hot through us, the driving rhythm arousing repressed passions. Rubin went on to observe the role technology rather ironically played in making this revolution possible. Affluent culture, by producing a car and a car radio for every middle-class home, gave Elvis a base for recruiting. While a car radio in the front seat rocked, young kids in the back seat were having sex to the hard rock beat. The back seat produced the sexual revolution, and the car radio was the medium for subversion. 30 years later, Rubin's communist revolution has largely been passed up in favor of rank, whatever makes you happy materialism.
Because everyone loves a twofer.
Bye, Teddy. Bye, cutie.
But music's influence has only become more powerful and more widespread. The low-fidelity car radio of the 60s has given place to digital technologies, surround sound and personal stereos, music television, TV commercials, movie soundtracks,
soundtrack to the smash film,
video games, the internet, and a $9 billion a year industry that's with us when we wake up, as we drive, study, when we exercise, as we relax, shop, go out to eat, and finally as we go to sleep. And the result is a new type of revolutionary, one even more secure in music's power to influence individuals as well as shape the culture.
So music is really great. It can move, a large group of people. It can inspire and move a large group of people. Then revolution can happen.
There's more to Rage's music than meets the ear.
We are able to seduce some people in with the music who then are exposed to a different political message.
As Bob Pittman, founder and one-time president of MTV, once bragged, the strongest appeal you can make is emotionally. If you can get their emotions going, make them forget their logic, you've got them. At MTV, we don't shoot for the 14-year-olds. We own them.
It's MTV. Today you are a woman.
MTV. It's all part of growing up.
No one wants to feel like they're being influenced, and certainly not owned or controlled by anything that's outside their own rational decision-making minds. Yeah, maybe some of those idiots who hang out in front of Game World at the mall are being led around by their nose rings, but we'd like to think, not me. The simple, inescapable truth, however, is that you and I do become, to some degree, what we listen to and watch. In the same way that human biology dictates that if you live on a steady diet of junk food, you will eventually damage your body. The entertainments you feed upon, for good or ill, will affect your emotional and spiritual well-being. It's true that not everyone will be influenced in precisely the same way, or to the same degree, but like it or not, we will be influenced. Whether it's the manner in which music organizes thought patterns in the brain, or the mysterious spiritual power that has so fascinated artists like Hendrix, Morrison, Mickey Hart, and Tori Amos. Music truly does have enormous influence over its audience.
On my command, relinquish control. Give me your body. Surrender your soul. Submission is strongly suggested as the drum consumes your soul. The pounding sounds of percussion is all that you'll know.
Let's now close by examining the basic bottom line of this power over our souls and what we can do about it.
TJ. Son.
Yeah, Dad.
What are you doing?
I'm just doing some programming.
Programming what, the computer or your brain?
What's that?
I've already drawn the analogy between food and entertainment, how what we bring into our bodies and minds affects the type of people we become. Perhaps an even better analogy, though, can be found here, in, of all things, A Broken Window. In his classic work, Thinking About Crime, renowned social scientist James Q. Wilson observed that disorder and crime are usually inextricably linked, that human behavior is profoundly affected by its environment. Broken windows, graffiti, drunkenness, and open displays of unfettered sexuality are an invitation for crime, a declaration that the environment is uncontrolled and uncontrollable, and that anyone can invade it to do whatever damage and mischief the mind suggests. Almost like clockwork, when this broken window effect is reversed and these elements are removed or suppressed within a community, crime rates plummet. An ordered and more dignified atmosphere encourages civility and moral behavior, while disorder breeds anarchy and immorality.
Hi, how you doing?
And if that's true when disorder appears as something as mundane as a broken window, how much more powerful is the catalyst for immoral behavior when the oral environment, when the music, that language of the human soul, is bent towards moral disorder and chaos? A striking example of this broken window effect as it relates to music can be seen in this small park in Edmonton, Alberta. Several years ago, drug dealers began doing business here, and as a result, the crime rate in general began to increase. In an effort to restore a sense of order and preserve their community, local merchants paid for a sound system and began to broadcast the symphonies of Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart throughout the park. Neil DeBoard, the local chief of police, reported that the results were immediate and dramatic, with the number of crimes falling by approximately 800%. While there's no way to fully quantify all the factors that led to this decline, the gut consensus was that the beauty, intelligence, grandeur, and order projected by the classical music was so antithetical to the discord and degeneracy associated with the drug trade that many of the dealers just stayed away. A more recent example of the flip side to this principle can be seen in the rioting, theft, arson, and rape that took place at Woodstock 1999.
It's time to let yourself go right now, because there are no more rules out there.
During the Limp Bizkit set, where the majority of the sexual assaults were reported, vocalist Fred Durst introduced a new song.
How many people here ever woke up one morning and just decided it was one of those days and you're gonna break some shit? Well, this is one of them days, yo.
And then sang,
It's going this way, I just might break your face tonight. Give me some break. Give me some break.
This chaos reached its crescendo the next night during the Red Hot Chili Peppers performance, while bass player Flea pranced about naked and lead singer Anthony Kiedis urged women in the audience to do something so disturbing we can't even mention it here. An organization calling itself PAX, Latin for peace, distributed candles.
So here, why don't you just take one as a souvenir for coming by?
It was no small irony when these so-called peace candles were used to set fires that ultimately burned down a stage, 12 trailers, and brought 500 riot police onto the scene.
Oh, Clue, let me slip it in your fire!
When asked by reporters about the pandemonium, concert promoter John Schur replied, "I can't give you an explanation. I guess they were kids blowing off some steam and it got out of hand." It's been well said, there are none so blind as those who refuse to see.